to beat. The new action track's complete. Thundering down the track, fearless men who don't look back. Mighty midgets, bucking solos, roaring sprint cars, hot-stopping sidecars, fender-bending saloon. Watch the dirt fly. See you Friday night at the Speedway, Friday night. See you Friday night at the Speedway.
At 94, John Crowhurst. We heard the applause for him as he came out. John Crowhurst driving a Monza from 18. These are the starters in the Shell Smithfield Speed Shop Saloon Car Scratch Race Division 1. Interesting, this race from the point of view of being the debut of John Crowhurst in the Monza, the big yellow car. Crowhurst is starting from position 18. He's at the back, but if John drives the Monza anyway he did his old Monaros, he won't be there at all. And in fact, he'd even be starting favourite in his first race. What do you think, David?
Yeah, he must do. Dennis Burford's got a very similar car, the Monza number 13, but he hasn't really performed yet. But Crowy's got that big motor under the bonnet. Could be his race. There's the green flag for 12 laps, the first race tonight. And it's London Breaker, number 15. Around the outside of that is 37, Jeff Bailey, and he's had quite a bit of success this year. Number 37 from Blue Athol Motor Wreckers.
Derek O'Reilly left the track. He'll be getting back on there in turn 1. Number 48, just getting back. But it's Jeff Bailey out the front, leading from Chris Blunden right behind him in car 15. But where's Crowhurst? He's still holding back a little bit. Garry Royd, who's left the track in turn 2, pulled off and out of this race. And the lead is Bailey going high, but Blunden is underneath him, so Blunden is over lead now, and then Routliffe. Crowhurst and Dennis Burford, the two Monzas, 13 and 94, just driving around the track together down the back straight. And they're behind number 63, Kim Cottrell in the Trana. Just gave him a touch, and he went up high to let first Burford go underneath. Crowhurst's mask is absolutely covered in mud. Rips it off. The leader is Blunden, Chris Blunden. And then in second place, we've got this clash between Jeff Bailey in car 37 and 32 of Bill Routliffe. 15 of London, doing a pretty good job in the circumstances. But there goes Crowhurst, got his act together now. He's in turn 1.
It'll take a while for Johnny to get that thing going, but look at him go now, down the back straight, underneath Burford, those two Monzas side by side. Pretty picture.
He's racing up towards the Monaro of Lindsay Tuffin, 43. Crowhurst really going hammer and tongs. Believe it or not, we've only got 4 laps down so far, still 8 to go. So there's plenty of distance left in this race for him to take it out. Leader at the stage, though, still Chris Blunden at car 15. Bill Routliffe trying a challenge out. Further back we've got Jeff Bailey, and then it's 45, Lindsay Hall.
There it goes, the big Monza of John Crowhurst goes high around the outside of Lindsay Tuffin, number 43. But Crowhurst, that yellow Monza, screaming down the back straight. And it would take a little while for Crowhurst to get used to the handling conditions of the car.
He's just about brought up to the first group. He was in a little bit of trouble at the beginning of the race with mud over his visor, but seems to be able to see a little bit better now. 63 back there is Kim Cottrell, driver of the last few seasons. Dennis Burford in 13, the second Monza. Derek O'Reilly is the car behind, in front of him, the Toronto, but he moved out of the way.
Well, there's a big one in the corner there. That's Chris Blunden, number 15, spinning out. And all the cars go around him.
The leader of the stage, still 32. That's Bill Routliffe. John Petard doing pretty well in the L34, car number 71 behind him. And it's Ian Jones in 22. But Routliffe down the back of the track.
There goes Ian Jones underneath Petard in the second place. Ian Jones, number 22.
And Crowhurst in about 5th place at this stage.
Yeah, Dennis Burford's got back in front of him. Perhaps it's given Dennis Burford something to drive at. Another Monza on the track. About quarter of a lap between the leader and John Crowhurst, so Crowhurst not going to take this race, but he's certainly trying that track out.
And has he got some fans here? Every time he does something nice, like that last passing move on Burford, sing out to him. So it's 32 still the leader. And he's only quarter lap in front of Crowhurst. But he's going to have to watch out because Ian Jones is oiling him in at a great rate of knots.
Yes, Ian Jones won a big feature a few weeks ago.
Here's the white flag. White flag now being shown to Bill Routliffe, but Jonesy underneath him. Ian Jones hits the lead in turn 1. Routliffe trying to come back in turn 2, but not enough. Great dice for the lead. Fantastic. Here they come, coming past the pit turn. Leader is Ian Jones in car 22 with Routliffe in the blue car right behind him. There's the checkered flag. Jones takes it out. Routliffe second. And third, could it be John Crowhurst? We'll have to check that with the starters, but could very well be Crowhurst's third place in his first race in the new car. Would Colin Norman please come to the front office immediately? Colin Norman to the front office. Right for a start in event 2 now. Pole position is Wayne Godfrey. It's a big field, 19 cars, and there they go. Middleton making a move, and down around the outside of Godfrey into the lead in turn 1. So it's Bob Middleton through turn 2, and away they go. Bill O'Brien back there in third place. And Lindsay All in 46. Lindsay All from just up the road at Port Wakefield. Runs a service station at Port Wakefield, and a very Lindsay All. Bob Fulton was the one behind him in 27. Then Greg Berryman in 20. Cars bunching up now. Going through turn 2, still Middleton on the front, and All making a big streak past Godfrey. So Lindsay All goes up. He's in second place, right on the tail of Middleton. Middleton gets the tail out, using a fair amount of that pole line as he goes around the track. But there goes run past Middleton. He's got his nose in front now, grabs the lead through turn 1. Lindsay All leading from Bob Middleton, Wayne Godfrey there on 86, and then it's 23, Bill O'Brien, and 27, Fulton, Bob Fulton. Past O'Brien very quickly. Lindsay All just clearing out from the field now. Middleton behind him. Car in trouble is 54. Peter Lowe. Spun from one side to the other and then back again. Wish they wouldn't do that. The lead car now coming past the start-finish line again. That's Lindsay All, 46. Got a quarter lap lead now over the second one, which is Bob Middleton at 36. Back to Bill O'Brien, Greg Berryman at 20 and Bob Fulton 27. 3 cars close together, not much at all between those. And then Ash Floyd, see Ash Floyd way back there in the big Superbird 29, the blue and white Ford Racing Team colours.
Yeah, Lindsay All just cruising around it in the lead. No troubles at all to Lindsay All. This is his race, the Shell Smithfield Speed Shop Division 2 B-grade scratch. That's 28 Bob Postuma way back in the field. But now Lindsay All catching up with the tail ender in 54, Peter Lowe. He's going to do some lapping. There's still, well, the race just half over, about 5 laps to go. Coming up behind Kev Richards, Lindsay All, number 46. And we go back to 36, Bob Middleton.
Oh, big spin there in the pit turn.
Oh yeah, he's trying to wheel. Back wheel's gone.
That's Ted Johnson in the Monaro down there in the pit turn, and the where's the wheel? I can't even see.
Here they come. Watching Bill Garr. Green flag, 6 laps to go. Lindsay All's going to try and put as much room as he can between he and the rest of the field. Bob Middleton really pouring the power in and sliding around the track at the start. In behind 23 Bill O'Brien, Greg Berryman, Bob Fulton, and then 39 Ron Lamming. Well, that's Bill O'Brien pulling right out, losing all power. But in the meantime, Lindsay All just streaks ahead once again. Bob Middleton is in second place, Bob Fulton, Greg Berryman, and number 14 has come right up, Chris Bannon.
And look at the way those cars are going 3 wide through that corner there, through turn 1.
Yeah, this is what they do at Speedway Park, and it looks great.
But Lindsay All is doing a great job. Goes past start finish one more time. So he's got, what is it, 8 to go now, 4 down. Or is it 4 to go?
8 to go, 8 down.
Can't count. 36 is the car behind him. That's Bob Middleton, and he's about a quarter lap behind him. Gap getting wider all the time, but Bob Fulton making a big charge now for second place. And he's got Greg Berryman behind him in 20. Those cars bunching up. There goes Fulton. Underneath Middleton. Grab second.
Yeah, Berryman will follow that line, and so will Chris Bannon, number 14, moving very well. And
44 going up very high as Ian Wilson. He's running last, as a matter of fact. But here comes the leader, and that's Lindsay All in 46. Very, very professional display under the conditions. Lindsay All driving well. He's coming up very close to lapping some of these slower cars. Pulls it through the pit turn. Down past start finish one more time. He's on his last lap now. Just got the white flag from Bill Gower. There goes All, 46. Had a couple of very successful seasons down at Raleigh Park towards the end. Got up into A grade, here he is in B grade, and absolutely running away with this race. There's the checkered flag. Lindsay All first. Be a long wait for second.
Yeah, good run by All too.
Here comes Bob Fulton in 27 for second. Bob Fulton second, and third Greg Berryman, and then Chris Bannon in car 14.
See? They're all stars in there. 69, John Hughes has had a great run over the last few seasons. Being led around by David Gwynn from Waikerie. On the outside, Kerry McCarthy, Robbie Marchant, Darrell Downing, Tony Orlando, Graham Beneke, Ivor Beneke, and John Hughes. And away they go. 8 laps for Coca-Cola bottlers, and Kerry McCarthy away very quickly in that one. 24. Leads them around in front of David Gwynn. In behind him is Darrell Downing. On the inside, Robbie Marchant, number 87. The A9X into third place now. Tony Orlando being good up, and Marchant a hell of a bash at the back. And Marchant is thrown all over the track from Orlando.
Orlando's through, he's up in third place now, but the battle for the lead between David Gwynn and Kerry McCarthy at 24, the big black Monaro. McCarthy side on, off the track, back onto the track again. Marchant has to duck around the outside of him. But there goes Tony Orlando in the Coca-Cola L34 up into the lead, car 99, doing okay. Darrell Downing at 47 slips into second place past David Gwynn to give Tony a hurry up, and it looks to me that Darrell's got the speed too to be able to chase him. Tony Orlando from Darrell Downing, and we remember a few seasons back when they were driving the Tiranas, both Tiranas together, they were great competitors. Tony goes high, Darrell's down there low on the pole line, and
he's
comes his nose in front, so the big Monaro, Darrell Downing's leading. There's the red lights. It's Graham Beneke. Graham Beneke up between turns 3 and 4. There's Kerry McCarthy. Right for a start, there's the green flag from Bill Gower, and away they go. McCarthy right behind Downing, shoved him into turn 1, and maybe just gave him that little bit extra he needed to get up under Downing and get into the lead. McCarthy into Downing that time. This is a rough and tough race. Look at McCarthy going, the inside of Downing. Bit of nudge, nudge, wink, wink going on out there.
Yeah,
it's Tony Orlando. There's Downing. Out of line, but it looked like McCarthy was about to straighten him up. Instead of that, planted his foot, and all the power of that big Monaro put him into second place going down the straight.
But Downing's right in there behind McCarthy. He's not giving up an inch.
That's Orlando. And as he got his hands full, both with his car and those cars behind him. Robbie Marchant making a bit of a run too. Marchant's up in the fourth place now behind Downing.
McCarthy could be looking good in this one. He's right in there behind Orlando.
All the action with the leader, Tony Orlando, just only in front of Kerry McCarthy. Gives him a nudge, and around he goes. Orlando's off the track, comes back, and he gave a nice little one to McCarthy to allow Darrell Downing up into second place this time. What a race.
Oh, stewards will be enjoying this one. Tony Orlando, Darrell Downing, Kerry McCarthy, and a little way back to Robbie Marchant. But those first three, that's where the action is.
This is certainly the roughest and the most exciting stars race that we've seen this season. These lads are giving it everything.
All right, 3/4 of a lap to go. Downing's trying everything. McCarthy cooks it in that corner. And Marchant goes right up behind. And a lot of fender bending there for Marchant.
But it's going to be Orlando to take the race out. There it is, checkered flag. Tony Orlando first, Downing second, and Kerry McCarthy third.
But have a look at Robbie Marchant
John
living
Hughes.
in.
And look at Robbie Marchant's car.
The whole bonnet is gone.
Fiberglass bent right back. What a race.
Oh, we haven't seen one like that for a long, long time. Tony Orlando, Darryl Downing, and Kerry McCarthy.
The whole thing's on videotape for the stewards to have a look at time and time again.
They'll enjoy it, mate.
It'll be a good race. Bob Aylesbury on pole, Eric Shier from Western Australia right next to him. On the outside of him, then it's Bob McMilan in the black car this time, but leaping across is Graeme McCubbin. McCubbin always does well at Speedway Park. He's there in third place now.
And Bill Wigzell right in behind him too. Billy Wigzell, 88, following right behind.
You talk about people not having luck here at the track. Well, Wigzell hasn't really got it all together with his new Nan Sprinter yet. But tonight could be the night. He looked pretty good on that first lap. Up there in the third place, but they're the red light for a restart now. And the Stars scratch race. There they go. It's Bob Aylesbury in 42. Eric Shier going up on the outside of him.
That's right, Geneve,
wide.
Look at Geneve go. Right around the outside.
Those in front of Wigzell. Wigzell coming back now. And Geneve it is. Powers past Eric Shier. Wigzell still holding a low line, but he's got Bob Aylesbury in front of him, whereas Geneve can go right around the outside. And he's doing just that. He's got his nose in front, and away he goes in that big blue Sprinter.
This is the guy that could be a favourite for the national title. He's been taking everything in front of him recently, and he's flying here at Speedway Park.
In the west, Geneve runs a dyno shop, and he reckons that engine that he's got in his car, oh, it hit...
he hit that fence hard. He bounced off and back in again. On the outside of McCubbin and still going just as fast.
Yeah, Geneve reckons that car's putting out about 630 horsepower, would you believe? But McCubbin, Aylesbury nose in front now in the blue car. McCubbin right behind him in one, and then Geneve up high in car 4. And Wigzell's in trouble again. Wigzell's car pulls up.
Yeah, Bill Barrows was forced out of the race with that one.
But it's McCubbin. McCubbin has his nose in front. Geneve, another excursion, hits the fence and again. Just give it a little scrape that time. And Barrows, our local stars, right back in about 5th place. Bill Wigzell has pulled out.
Bob Aylesbury doing well, holding down second. Russell Carlin coming through on the inside of Geneve.
Incredible to see the way Carlin's going. Certainly got that little green car souped up this for this race. And there he goes. Carlin powers underneath Geneve. That'll make him feel good.
Graeme McCubbin leading them around.
Here goes Barrows. Barrows in car 6 up. Then he just pulled up straight, pulled up dead. 1 lap to go. What a race of incidents. But McCubbin, he hasn't lost many races he's been in Speedway Park.
That car
jumping around the track. McCubbin, checkered flag. McCubbin first, Aylesbury second, and Russell Carlin third in car 20. Scratch 10 laps rolling start. Gil Cameron, the Formula 5000 driver, a former Formula 5000 driver on pole, was talking to Gil before the meeting tonight, and he said that it's a pity he didn't get into sprint car racing and speedway racing years ago. Enjoying it so much.
Here he comes, Garry Rush.
Finally got everything screwed together, all the bits and pieces together, and Garry Rush's car is now out on the track.
Well, he made that time limit, and under the rules of speedway racing, they can put a time of 2 minutes if you hop.
Truly professional. But he's not quite as rear of field as he should be. But then again, John Everett, who's driving that Dodge car number 43, he's a little bit further back than he should be too.
Coming out of that corner, Ted Bolander certainly streaked several lengths ahead. Watch him on the start.
Ted Bolander driving the sponsor wanted Chevy. Put a great big sign on the side of it saying this space for lead. Ready for a start. There they go, green flag. Gil Cameron and Bolander. Bolander it is, nips in front, turn 1. Chaz Calandro there in car 33. He's in 3rd place. Make a move, and we've got a spin right in front of Rush. Rush side on, but not Everett. Everett bang into Lee Dillon in turn 1. You see the difference there between a great driver and a not so great driver. The way Rush, it happened a lot closer to
restart, and it is green flag.
There goes Bolander again, exactly the same as the time before, and he's in the lead in turn 1. And there goes Chaz Calandro up underneath Gil Cameron this time. Cameron fighting back down the back straight.
Oh, Calandro and Cameron, and go high, and Calandro rides the fence. In there was Graham Moore. Garry Rush
spun his car to make sure that he wasn't involved in the other accident.
Calandro just going too hard and went up and over. And just climbs out and has a look at the damage. There he goes, 10 laps.
Bolander likes that starting position too. Plants the foot as they come out of the pit turn, and away he goes. The way he just hooked his car right round and in the lead in turn 1.
Yeah, watch the front runners, but also watch Garry Rush. Very cleverly got around the outside of Snow, number 11.
So it's Ted Bolander from Gil Cameron. Graeme Moll there in car 10. He's in third place. Then it's David Brown. Side on is Jeff Fenton, and a spin. That's Bob James. Gary Eli caught up with him in turn 2. They go to the infield. Spin right around.
That's where they'll stay.
But back on the track and in the race already in position 5 is Garry Rush, car number 2, right up behind Brown. Rush going in car 2 on the outside of Brown, and another car, the one of Graeme Moll. He's in third place now.
He's going for second around the outside of Cameron. Into the corner, just turns it side on.
Close to Cameron. Is he a professional or what? Look at this. Garry Rush, second place. He's after Bolander.
And he'll catch him in this corner.
Bolander driving the sponsor-needed Chevy. And I reckon if he keeps going this well, they're going to put him up in an A-grade race next week. Garry Rush. Nose in front. There we go. 6 laps to go. Rush leading now. From the rear of Phil to the lead, the front spot in 4 laps. Did it so well.
There he comes out of pit corner. Garry Rush, number 2.
Behind him it's Ted Bolander. Then we've got Gil Cameron, Graeme Moll, David Brown. Look at David Brown's wing. It's all wobbling all over the place. Down to the black car, car number 4.
Yeah, that's come loose, hasn't it?
Wing looks like it's loose.
Nuts and bolts off it.
And that's car 4, just in behind 10, the one of Graeme Moll. He's going to get a black flag to show that there's a mechanical defect. Phil Gower showed it to him now. His wing has come back on one side around about a foot. He's had the black mechanical defect flag, so he should be coming in to check it out, if nothing more.
Yeah, there's a bunch of 3 cars there, so I don't think David Brown may be aware. But they started giving him another flag.
And showing him the light, saying it's you, Brown.
And Brown keeps on going, goes around the outside of Moll. He's got a...
Graeme Moll spinning right in front of him. Brown is still controlling his car, despite the fact that his traction must be a little bit awry. But the danger, of course, is that the wing could come off. And he pulls up just in front of Bob Birmingham, causing Birmingham more than a moment's consternation. There goes the white flag to Rush, so Rush is on his last lap now. David Brown still staying up very high on the outside of the track. In second place we've got Bolander, and then in third it's Gil Cameron driving a good race. But here's the winner, taking out a B-grade race, believe it or not, Garry Rush, car number 2. Pulled up immediately after going past the start-finish line. Second place to 75, Sprint Car Handicap Division 1, event 13, 10 laps rolling start. And the handicap, the way this works is that we have the slower drivers, maybe the less experienced, slower drivers. They'll be starting from the front. Les Baker's the first one. He's off from 10 metres. Behind him we've got Gil Cameron. Gil Cameron developing into a pretty good driver, but still without a lot of experience. And then it's Ted Bolander and Graeme Moll. Snowy White behind them. Bob Aylesbury. And then we get into the faster ones. The Western Australian driver Eric Shier from 200. From 280 is the local star Bill Barrows in car number 6. And then Garry Rush, who won his last race in fine style. He'll be starting now, making sure that they're all at their correct marks. And there goes the green flag, and away they go. Les Baker, an Australian stock rod champion, switching this year to sprint cars. He's leading them around there in car number 12.
And as the tail end, as we keep our eyes on, early leaders will be overtaken by these back markers very, very quickly.
They're the faster drivers and getting invaluable practice for next week's Australian Championship here at Speedway Park. The Australian Championship for around about $10,000 prize money. Biggest event held. Barrows, the first fastest ones making an impact. There he goes underneath the slower car. That's Eric Shier from Western Australia. Barrows just zoomed underneath him. Garry Rush too, doing pretty well. He's behind Barrows, the big car, number 2. The HM Headers car.
Ted Bolander away in the front now, number 75, and behind him Bob Aylesbury, and Bob's a pretty smart sprinter.
Yeah, Aylesbury looks pretty good. He's got a very lightweight car, powerful motor, and a very, very lightweight machine. Aylesbury's in front, car 42. Bolander behind him. Then it's Les Baker still holding on, doing pretty good. Graeme Mole and then Bill Barrows up high, boxed in. And right behind Barrows, we've got the big car number 2, Garry Rush. And there's a touch there and spin Bill Barrows into the fence. That's the first time we've ever seen that. He came together with another slower car. I think it could have been Baker and Bolander was in there. Touched them, spun in front of everybody else, and Garry Rush, spree himself. Bit of a star. There he goes in the blue car, the CMV car, Rob Aylesbury, last off in car 42. And there goes Rushy. He's in 3rd place already. Aylesbury blasts off down the back straight, 42.
Yeah, doing it well,
turn 3. Rush coming up very quickly, and underneath Ted Bolander backs off for a moment. The big HM car that you can see, Garry Rush. Trying to get around Aylesbury. Look for a pass on the top part of him then underneath. Ted Bolander in front of Garry Rush.
Right, this time gets underneath. Bolander going a little high, but Rush can't quite get in there.
Yeah, Bolander shut the door.
But look at Aylesbury in the meantime. He's
has a comfortable lead.
Away.
Rush has got him this time. Aylesbury went high, left a gap, Rush was through. He's blasting around that field now to make up these laps on Aylesbury. About 4 laps to go. 3.5 now as they come up the back straight. A big one there that you can see on the screen of the television is Ron Trezise from the Northern Territory. Swings his car side on through turn 4 and down past start and finish.
This could be Bob Aylesbury's race, driving a good line, keeping the power on, and just 2 laps to go.
But Rush is giving it the big boot. He's giving it heaps after Aylesbury. And he's hauling it back all the time. 1.5 laps to go as they're down the back straight now. Aylesbury from Rush.
1 lap to go.
Highly professional driver. Aylesbury looks in a good spot to take this race off.
I think he could.
Local drivers improving every week. And one's going to take this race. Here he comes through his last corner now. Bob Aylesbury, let's hear it for him. There's the checkered flag. Aylesbury first, Garry Rush second, and 3rd place to go to the Northern Territory driver, Ron Trezise. There's the flag for Trezise now.
Test 2 here at Speedway Park.
McCubbin is out of this race. Graeme McCubbin's withdrawn. Not yet sure what. Word is that next week at the Australian Championship we'll be seeing George Tatnall driving a car that's similar to that one.
That'll be great to see.
Sprinters, but there they go in this race.
Right, Bill Wigzell's got his act together after doing about half a lap at top speed, but let's have a look at the front again, where we've got Bob Birmingham shaking out of that corner. In behind him is number 9, Bob James.
Then it's Jeff Fenton, Bob McMilan. Oh, look at the smoke coming out of Birmingham's car. Car number 44 in the lead, but smoke streaming out of it.
Oh, he's blowing
Women
something
for
there.
Wheels blokes have left their car and they're going towards the northern end of the track for when that one comes in. The whole field slows down as Birmingham pulls to the infield. And it looks like he's heading for the Women for Wheels car.
No, he's not very concerned. He's just turning infield. But in the meantime, Bob McMillan's up there in the front, number 66. The repaint job, very dark car now. Russell Carlin is in 2nd place.
Then it's David Veers and Bill Wigzell. Wigzell sliding that car side on. Looks as if he's really enjoying his driving in this one tonight. Underneath David Veers for 3rd place.
Yep.
Bob McMilan in the lead from Russell Carlin, Bill Wigzell, David Veers. Then it's Jeff Fenton. Behind him is Bob James. Closing up on the leader all the time, the way it happens in handicap races.
David Veers sticking with Billy Wigzell. David Veers in the green and white. Billy Wigzell in the big Pizza Hut car. Russell Carlin is there right in front of Wigzell now.
Wigzell has the speed. You see the front wheels just leap up. Leap in the air. There he goes. Wigzell underneath Russell Carlin. Good passing move. He's after Bob McMilan now, and there's still 5 laps to go. McMilan on the black one. Wigzell in the white one. Then Carlin.
It could be Billy's first in his new car at Speedway Park. Right in behind McMilan as they come out of pit corner.
Lines the thing up. Looks like he's trying for an outside pass. McMillan's there just in front of him. Wigzell having a go now.
Round he goes. McMilan holding him off at this moment.
And Wigzell presses the go button. There he goes. Nose in front again, car's side on. Going through the clay at the top of the track. Wigzell yards faster.
And all the Wigzell fans jumping up and down. Wigzell's made it. Bob McMilan second, David Veers third, and back to Russell Carlin, who's not sprinting as he was earlier.
Wigzell, wheels side on. Look at the way he changes direction of those wheels through the corner. David Veers is up in second place now to chase Wigzell. Still 2 laps to go. Wigzell fans all have their fingers crossed.
And Veers not far behind either.
Veers a very gutsy driver. Comes up with Bill Barrows from Mount Gambier every week. Drives back straight after the meeting, and he's gaining on Wigzell. It's going to be an interesting finish. 1 lap to go. They're on the last one. It's going to be a great race. Wigzell just holding off the one of Veers. Veers seems to be gaining, and there's a touch there of the wheels. Front wheels of Veers hitting Wigzell's back wheels, and Wigzell shot ahead. So it looks like he's got this race wrapped up now. And here it is, the Wigzell, the Wizard, the Wigzell first. David Veers second, and Bob McMilan. Not a bad race for third. So Ian Wilson, Ron Lemming, Chris Kostoff, Bill O'Brien, Derek O'Reilly, and at the rear is Tony Hurd. "15 laps, rolling start. All eyes on the start of Bill Gower. Roger Flatman and Peter Lowe bringing them round. Behind him, Richards and Fred Gunn, then Kim Cottrell. Probably be likely to go for somebody like Kim Cottrell to take this race out, but there they go. Freddie Gunn doing okay in the EH number 12. He slips up in the 3rd place behind Richards and Roger Flatman. And Cottrell making a go now, having a run underneath Freddie Gunn.
Yeah, it's a pretty long race, 15 laps for vinyl removals, and these lads, not too many of them would have driven 15 laps.
They're quiet, aren't they, compared to the big ones? The big 8s that we're used to hearing. Roger Flatman, very, very keen Speedway enthusiast, close friend of Kevin Rundle, holding off Kev Richards.
And behind, Kim Cottrell in 3rd place. Rob's tipped him as perhaps the winner.
Cottrell's bonds flapping a little bit, but you can see that it's anchored down.
Yeah, the first 3, Roger Flatman.
There's 44, goes up, hits the fence. That's the one of Ian Wilson. Sideswiped the fence and continued on with the race. Back to the leader though as we come round, and that's still Roger Flatman. Kev Richards behind him, and then Kim Cottrell in car 63. 90 is Mark Hull, he's back in 4th place. Oh, and there we go, we've got a car hit the fence. 54 is it? Peter Lowe.
Yeah, looks like Peter Lowe.
So the yellow lights are on, and Lowe takes off and goes straight down the infield. Gets off the track.
Kev Richards in the front place. They come out of pit corner. Number 91, the
Blackie,
silver car.
Roger Flatman right behind him, and Kim Cottrell having an outside run on Flatman and Richards. Looks like he's going to take them both together.
Yeah, pulling out all stops down the back straight. He goes around Flatman.
Kev Richards in the lead at car 91.
There he is with Cottrell right behind him, ready to pounce. Flatman is next, Mart Hull. Then 39, Ron Lemming. And 12, Fred Gunn.
Cottrell's making his big move now. He's got his nose in front down the back straight. But he's very high as they're coming around the corner. And yellow lights are on. This time again, Ian Wilson, turn 2. Turn 2 got him before, and it got him this time. And he's stuck up there on the fence. Kev Richards still leading in that grey Tirana. Kim Cottrell, car 63 right behind him. And then 3rd place, Roger Flatman. The rain's starting to fall down now.
Yeah, the rotten rain coming down.
Gee, wouldn't you know it?
It's held off all night, but it's letting loose now.
Cottrell in a little bit of trouble. Looks like it might be getting slippery out there.
Could very well be. That rain is pouring and driven in by the wind.
Kev Richards. Car snaking down the back straight. Cottrell behind him, gathering him in all the time. Cottrell getting closer. Richards there, and Cottrell having a go.
That rain pouring in, and you can see the surface now very, very wet. Could cause a bit of fun if these boys start to plant the foot a little bit.
Well, Tony Hurd's in front of the leaders. They're catching him. Looks like he'll be the first one to be lapped, but the cars are all slowing down. Hurd's being given a black flag. He's got a bad back tyre. That's the reason he slowed down all right. The tyre is completely chewed up.
Yeah.
Kim Cottrell is in the lead in car 63.
It's a wonder Hurd doesn't feel that tyre because it's dead set on the rim. But Cottrell in the lead with Kev Richards right in behind him. and Fred Gunn, number 12, in third place.
Yeah, Fred Gunn, a bit of a mud runner. He's enjoying it. He's come from nowhere. Got past Blackie Flatman, certainly going faster than the other 2 cars out there now. Kim Cottrell in 63, and then it's Richards, and look at Gunny go.
You said he's a mud runner. He certainly is. Just out and around everything. That heavy shower of rain has made the track pretty slippery, and Fred Gunn is just moving away from Cottrell and Richards.
He's making the most of this, and he looks like he's going to take out top money. 5 laps left to go. They've got 10 down already. Freddie Gunn having the time of his life. Look at him get the tail out there. Really enjoying that. Clock's off another lap. Only 4 to go now. Gunny doing it in fine style. Couldn't happen to a nicer bloke, actually. Kim Cottrell there in 2nd place, and then it's Kev Richards in 3rd.
Yeah, that's Kev Richards taking it very, very slowly. 91 down the back straight.
Interesting to see everybody else seem to slow down, and then Fred really gave it the gun when the rain came down.
Yes, he took his opportunity, and he's well in front now.
And the Atlas Motor Records will be smiling from ear to ear, the way he's doing it. Fred's a bloke who's driven a number of different cars. He was campaigning Datsuns a few years ago. Last year he came out with a Monaro, or maybe the year before that too. And this year this EH Holden. It's the first time I've seen him in that one. New colour scheme too for Fred, but he's always had number 12.
2 laps to go.
The rain has stopped, so Fred's only hoping that the track doesn't dry out in the next 2 laps.
Oh, a big spin there. Flatman in pit corner will pick up in a moment.
Poor old Blackie.
Spins out, just backs off the track. Clears the way for Fred Gunn to come around for the white flag with 1 lap to go. Kim Cottrell, maybe he's gained a few metres.
He has. Cottrell's definitely doing better. There's a car stuck. Mark Hull right in the middle of the track. Gunn came down underneath him. He's holding on. Cottrell doing pretty well though.
And
on the last lap now.
We go right back to Kev Richards, 91 in 3rd place.
That's going to be a good finish though. Look at these other slower cars holding him up. It's coming into the last corner. Fred Gunn's there. The opening's there if Cottrell can take it off, and it looks like he might do it. No, Gunny. Gunny just came back. Cottrell 2nd, and 3rd will go to Richards, Kev Richards in car 91. Well, how about that?
Mud runners and all.
Fred Gunn, Kim Cottrell, and Kev Richards. Give me the officials in a moment.